wait for people to show up here a little bit. Give people a few minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to run down the new mode, kind of start a game, maybe run through a card or two, just so people can kind of see what it's all about, and then answer any questions that anybody might have. And this should go live tomorrow, barring anything that I find today that makes that not possible. So, you know, hopefully it will be live tomorrow. Let's put that on vibrate. That's kind of loud. Turn this up a little bit. It was really quiet last time. I don't know why. So hopefully that's better. That might be a little too much, maybe. Yeah, it looks like it's. All right, that should be good. There we go. And Billy's here. Hexstar, welcome. Just kind of waiting on to see if people show up. If not, then I'll just stream it to you and we can check out the new mode. But here it is. It's Ultimate Promoter mode. Essentially, I just wanted to create something that was more of a single player mode that had a purpose to it, I guess. You know, where you're making uh, you have some kind of goal. It's a goal oriented mode, I guess. Oh, and I did not change the thing over. There we go. I haven't streamed in a while. I'm rusty as hell. But yeah. So Ultimate Promoter mode is the new one. I'm working on a career mode next. That'll be whatever the next update is. It'll probably take a while. That's going to be where like you control one wrestler and you earn points and make upgrades to your card, that sort of thing. And then wrestling history will be sort of a look back at some of wrestling's biggest feuds through cards, and you'll get to relive them through matches and earn things and that kind of stuff, you know. But those are the three modes that I have planned for sort of the single player goal oriented stuff. So, but all right, well, let's load this up here. Go into promoter mode here. And I deleted all my test stuff just so I could start fresh. So we'll start a new game. I'm going to call it the same thing I always call it. Four Corners Championship Wrestling. That would be FCCW. Of course, Carlzilla. Home city is Albuquerque. State is Mexico. And the home country is the United States. We can set whatever start date we want. Unless you're trying to do something, you know, you've set up your cards to be only a certain era. You know, I'm just going to leave it default. It doesn't really matter. The only thing it really matters for is if you set it to something else. You've got your technology dates. These are roughly when they unlocked year-wise. They unlock on January 1st of the year that they kind of became prominent. So, radio, TV, color printing, consumer plastics, screen printing, home video, pay-per-view, internet, and streaming. So you can change the dates if you want, but that's really what that's for, mostly. I'm going to start with everything included. Started on normal difficulty. The difficulty really is just how much money you start with or how many points you start with. And I'm going to start with a free starter pack. I don't want champions turned on. I don't do champions. I'm even less interested in indies than I am in champions, so we'll turn that off too. I do want the mode exclusive cards. There are, I think I made 50 cards, maybe more, maybe 60 cards that are exclusive to, they're all for Legends. Billy Hexstar is creating some for Champions of the Galaxy, but they're not in yet. Maybe later today, and if not, then shortly after release, there'll be cards for Champions that are exclusive. There are no Indies cards that are exclusive. I don't know any Indies wrestlers. It's just not my thing. I'm sorry. If you're an Indies fan, you're missing. That's something that you're not going to have. So then we can set the included cards in the mode. So if we go into here, it defaults to have every card in your collection included. We probably don't want that. So I'm going to hit, it defaults to all of your cards being in the filter. So if you hit disable all here, you've essentially disabled every card that you have. And you can start from scratch, sort of filtering them to enable them how you want. I'm going to go with official equals true. And then I'm going to go with color equals true. And then I am going to go with colored. So these are the cards that I colored. I don't want them included. So we're going to go with false. And we're going to apply those. And there are all the official color cards. And we're going to hit enable. So now they're all included. And I'm going to get rid of all of those. I'm going to hit add condition, and I'm going to go with created equals true. The add condition, we'll go with color equals true. Apply. And then we will enable all of them. So that will enable all of, that essentially enables any card that I created as a creator. And any official card. It works through metadata, so if you haven't set up any metadata tags, now would be a good time to do it. Otherwise, you have to search through the cards from the all cards screen, which is a lot harder. So, and then I'm not going to mess with the technology stuff, so we're going to start the game. It'll take a second to load you into your office. I went with sort of a retro vibe with the typewriter. I could have used a computer, I guess, but so this is your office. You've got your mail over here, your messages. This is Tom Pax telling me that I get a free starter pack and how to access it. And then the local VFW hall saying that they were working with the promotion that was around locally before I was, and that they'd be happy to continue working with me. So that's what that's all about. Up here, you can check your card collection. You've got your calendar up here. This will advance a day. This is your booking stuff. You can leave. That's to quit out. It auto-saves. You've got your event history here. In your second drawer, it's your title history. And your third drawer, it's your finance history. Over here, you have your ranking books. The doors in the desk are your teams and stables, doctor's reports, and your promotion info. So the first thing that I would suggest that you do when you start up, of course, is to open your free pack if you've set one. So we'll go ahead and do that. It'll open up. Then they'll zoom out there. And the starter packs come with 10 cards. And we get to check and see who we got. We got Ted Christie, Jacques Rougeau, The Undertaker, Bobby Davis manager card, Homer Lane, Cal Farley, Magnum TA, Billy Red Lions, Sandman, and Roy Welch. So that's an interesting starting set of cards. Not really sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but we can go here. Even though I'm sure most people would be thrilled to get The Undertaker, he's very expensive. So the value of the card, their booking value, this is like their rating. Their card rating is how much you can sell them for. Their booking cost is figured based on that rating, but it's like 4 times the rating for like a starting promotion. It gets higher as your promotion gets bigger because you ostensibly have more money and they should be asking you for more money. So The Undertaker would cost me almost 200 points to book, and I only have 300 points to start out with. So I'm going to go ahead and sell him for extra points. He's kind of too expensive for me to use at this point. Same thing with Magnum TA and Homer Lane. They're all kind of expensive. Same with Cal Farley. I'll keep any guy under 25. And then I'm going to use those points that I just got from selling those cards to buy one more pack here. So now the packs cost me money. I start with 300 and I made 151 selling cards. So let's see here. I could buy a main eventers pack, which is going to have guys above, I think, 35. Or I could just buy a regular Legends pack. I could buy a jumbo pack, which has more wrestlers in it, but it's a lot more expensive. Oh, I'm going to buy that apparently. I didn't mean to click that, but okay. It's okay. So with this one, I got Roughhouse Fargo, Abdullah Farouk, Lord Zoltan, Masambula, Mike Graham, Jimmy Golden, and the Genius. That's a really great pack for a starting thing, so I'm kind of glad that worked out. Then I'm going to go into here, and I am going to go to the sponsors. So the sponsors menu is kind of a little, I wanted to do like logos for each of these and everything, but I just didn't, I don't have artistic talent, and basically I tried hitting somebody up on Fiverr, and they never got back to me. And then Warner was busy. He's got stuff going on and takes commissions and everything, so it was just kind of not, things didn't work out. So it's a little sparse right now. Maybe I'll spruce it up in the future. But anyway, you have all of these choices for sponsors. Essentially, we have a local gym, a local restaurant, local retail business, and a local brewery. The brewery pays the most, but they expect you to get their name in front of at least 900 fans every month for 3 months. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. I think I can get it in front of 900 fans. So there we go. They're going to pay me a little bit up front. You can check your balance up there, 251 points. It's not a ton because I bought that pack. So let's see here. Then we're going to want to go ahead and set up a little bit of marketing. You want marketing. Without marketing, you don't get as many fans to your shows. I recommend that you don't go absolutely crazy on this to begin with. It costs points every show. So I think I'm going to do posters, or maybe I'll do handbills and newspaper ads. And I'm just going to do small newspaper ads, and I'm not going to do them in color. That doubles the production cost of it, the print total. So there we go. We got some stuff going on there. And it is Saturday the 21st, so we can go ahead and run a show. So let's do that. So we go into here and we can see our show booking stuff. It's basically the same as what you would do in the normal when you're just running a promotion in sandbox mode, except now you have booking costs here. And like you can't change the date. The date is whatever date you're booking it on. And you could change the type of show it is if you have the proper technology or proper stuff unlocked for it. I do not, so I can only run house shows. I'm going to go to host info and select the venue. Here we can see the venues. It's going to have generated between 2 and 3 venues. So we have the VFW hall. They're the ones that called me this morning. when I started. We have the Albuquerque Club and we have the Veterans Club. The VFW Hall holds 250 people. The Albuquerque Club holds 441, and the Veterans Club holds 395. I think 395 is my best bet. The capacity determines how much it costs to put to run the event there. So that's 218 points. If you remember right, I had 251. So if I don't make any money off this show, I'm going to be in a really crappy place. So let's figure out some booking stuff. It defaults to all. If you come up here and hit not booked, it will sort them by how much they cost you, which is nice. So that works for booked and not booked, but all the rest of it is just the order that they appear in your collection. So let's see. My first show, the managers are always at the bottom, by the way. Let's see. I'm going to have in my first match, Lord Zoltan is probably going to lose to Roy Welch. We'll go ahead and book that. Let's call this card 1. In my second match, let's have Jimmy Golden and Mike Graham fight for the battle of the guys with the mustaches, because why not? And then in my main event here, who is... Any of these guys could be my main eventers here. They're kind of the higher end of what I'm able to use for a reasonable price. I think I'm going to go with Ted Christie and the Sandman. Why not? Jacques Rougeau, I'll just hope I find his brother in some pack sometime for tag team stuff. The same could be true for Ted Christie. He's got his brother Vic. But for now, they're going to be my main eventers. And basically, you can book as many matches as you want, although when it figures out your attendance, it does take into account how many matches you have. I'll give you a freebie here. If you're a starting promotion, you want to book at least 3 matches. You probably don't want to go too many more than that because of the cost, but you're going to want to book at least 3. If you book less than 3, you'll start getting attendance penalties because fans they're expecting at least 3 matches. As you move up in promotion size, they're going to expect more. I won't give you you'll have to play around with it and see what works best for you. That's part of the fun of it. So, the other difference is that you can save this now and load it. Once you hit run match for the first time, you are locked into running this card. You cannot save it in the middle of it. You're basically just stuck running it. So keep that in mind. If you run the first match, you won't be able to save it with the other 2. Because of all kinds of calculations for attendance and all that stuff has taken place, it makes it a lot harder to save and then load reliably and have all the variables be the same. So you're basically, once you hit run match, you're stuck running them. Oh, and Lord Zoltan is demanding additional pay. So Lord Zoltan is refusing to work unless you pay them an additional 16 points. So you can pay them, or you can cancel the match, and basically you'll take the hit of only having 2 matches on the card. I'm going to go ahead and pay him. 16 points is not an unreasonable amount, so... And here we go in the blue corner, weighing in at 222 pounds and standing 5 feet 11 inches tall. From Bourbon Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, this is Lord Zoltan. And his opponent in the red corner, weighing in at 181 pounds and standing 5 feet 10 inches tall. From Memphis, Tennessee, he is Roy Welch. And Welch and Zoltan locking up in the center of the ring. Roy Welch using his technical ability to get the better, grabbing a headlock, taking Zoltan over. Zoltan is planted firmly on the mat. Welch rolls down into a knee bar. Zoltan in trouble here. kind of kicks free. Roy Welch waits for Zoltan to get back to his feet and then blasts him with a running shoulder tackle. I have this set up to use the vintage chart, so this is going to be into the ropes. We are going to go for agility, so this will work on a 7 or less. And on a 5, it clubs Zoltan, takes him down, and Welch is going for the pin. Target is 4, roll is an 8, so Zoltan manages to kick out. And now Roy Welch on the attack here, double wrist lock applied. Zoltan is down, manages to get the ropes, and he's going to roll out. And he is hurt. Welch really wrenched that arm. Rolling his count out here. Target is going to be 5. Roll is once again an 8, so he is not counted out. And he gets back in the ring. And Roy Welch now reapplies that double wrist lock. Really wrenching Zoltan's arms here. Zoltan is hurt. Welch whips him into the ropes. And blasts him with a back elbow. Roy Welch now hip locks him to the mat. Zoltan once again rolls out of the ring. Roy Welch waits for him to get back in and is quick to jump on him with a boot to the ribs as he gets back in the ring. And Welch applies a hammerlock, still working the arms here. Zoltan is hurt and into the ropes once again by Roy Welch. And the two men meet up in the center of the ring with double shoulder blocks. Neither man puts the other down. They just stare each other down now. And it's Zoltan who comes out on top here, first to make a move, running knee to the midsection on Roy Welch. And Welch catches the leg and spins him around and applies that hammerlock again. Zoltan in trouble again. He's hurt. Roy Welch forearms him in the back while still applying that hammerlock, but that breaks the hammerlock, and Zoltan in control now. Another running knee to the midsection, and that catches Welch. Welch is hurt. Lord Zoltan now snaps his neck over the top rope. And now he's caught Welch going for the cover here. Target is 4, rolls an 11. Roy Welch able to kick out. And there's the triangle death grip on Roy Welch. Target is going to be 5. Roll is a 2. So Lord Zoltan has won that match with the triangle death grip. This works exactly like your sandbox thing. So you're going to just enter who won, how they won, all that kind of stuff. Triangle death grip. There is a slight difference here in the rating. So it automatically calculates the rating based on fatigue tokens, and you can add a little bit of an adjustment. You can minus a star or add a star based on how you felt the match went. So it's subjective. So I am going to say that was an okay match. I'll give it plus a quarter star. Because it would be a 2-star match. I think that's pretty fair. So no adjustment on my end. And we're going to hit OK. And then it's going to kick us back out to this screen. And you'll notice that a lot of this stuff here is grayed out now. You can't change it once you've run a match. So, and we're going to go ahead and Jimmy Golden and Mike Graham. The Battle of the Mustaches. And in the blue corner, weighing in at 216 or 260 pounds and standing 6 feet 5 inches tall from Bucksnort, Tennessee, he is Jimmy Golden. And in the red corner, weighing 219 pounds and standing 5 feet 8 inches tall from Tampa, Florida, Mike Graham. I didn't realize it. Well, I mean, I knew there was going to be a size difference, but I didn't realize it was going to be quite as big as it is. Jimmy Golden is just gigantic next to Mike Graham. And it's Jimmy Golden on the attack here. He gets the best out of the lockup, scoops him up, and slams him to the mat. Jimmy Golden now into the turnbuckle. And Graham up and over the back of Jimmy Golden, and then grabs him. And Mike Graham now with an elbow hammer That's a choice B maneuver. Let's see. He is going to send Golden into the turnbuckle. And Jimmy Golden turns it around, whips Mike Graham into the turnbuckle, and then comes crushing in with a big forearm blow. Golden rakes the back as Graham stumbles out of the corner. Mike Graham is feeling that one. And now he locks on that bear hug. And Mike Graham able to break it with ease. Drop toe hold by Mike Graham. And that has Jimmy Golden off balance as they both get back to their feet. Mike Graham just a little bit quicker. Drop toe hold again. Takes him down on the other side. But this time Jimmy Golden able to avoid going down. Only Graham ends up on his chest there. And Jimmy Golden picks him up and drops him throat first on the top rope. That's a choice E. Let's see what we got here. 7 or less. We're going to go with that. And on a roll of 10, Graham gets his arms up, doesn't go throat first on the top rope, turns around, grabs Jimmy Golden with a big suplex. Golden is hurt here. Mike Graham in control. Another suplex has him hurt. Here's an arm drag. And Jimmy Golden is dazed. Drop toe hold by Mike Graham. Puts Jimmy Golden down, and then he whips him into the ropes as he gets back up. And Jimmy Golden put down with a big back body drop by Mike Graham. Now Graham with an elbow hammer. And he's going to send Golden into the turnbuckle. And Mike Graham comes running in. Big drop kick against the turnbuckle. And Jimmy Golden in trouble here. Mike Graham goes for the pin. Target is going to be 4. Roll is a 5. So Jimmy Golden just barely able to get his shoulder up. And now Mike Graham, not going to throw him out of the ring. Graham is playing the good guy here. Elbow hammers him again. And once again going to throw him into the turnbuckle. And this time he comes in with a charging back elbow smash. And Golden stumbles out of the corner and is met with looping right hand punches by Mike Graham. And that they connect solidly on the head of Jimmy Golden. Mike Graham with a big running drop kick. Jimmy Golden out of the way. Scoops Graham up and hits a big corkscrew neck breaker. That leaves Graham hurt. Another big corkscrew neck breaker, and he goes for the cover. Target is 4 here. Roll is a 6. So Mike Graham able to kick out. But Golden in control. Boots him in the ribs. And Graham able to roll out of the way. Gets back up. Grabs him for a suplex. And puts Jimmy Golden down. Out of the ring here. Not going to do it. Going to roll up. Playing the good guy. And Mike Graham comes off of the running cross body block on Jimmy Golden. Can't keep his shoulders to the mat. Golden pushes him off pretty quickly, but Graham back to his feet. Big running drop kick. Golden once again out of the way of that. That's the second time that he's seen that drop kick coming. Golden blasts him with that corkscrew neck breaker. And that's going to hurt Mike Graham. Trying to scoop him up and drop him throat first on the ropes again. This is going to be agility or power. We're going to go with the agility because it's still 7. And on a roll of 5, this time he does fall throat first on that top rope. And Mike Graham is hurt. Jimmy Golden now into the turnbuckle with Mike Graham. And Golden comes in, big lariat in the corner. And Mike Graham is in trouble. Jimmy Golden, knockout right. And Golden has Graham in a world of hurt here. Another throat drop. This is a 7 or less, and he gets the 7. And Graham is still hurting. Into the turnbuckle goes Graham. Jimmy Golden not mixing it up a whole lot, but why does he need to if it's working? Level 2 offense for Jimmy Golden here. And a big corkscrew neck breaker. And that puts Graham down, and Golden goes for the cover. Target is 5. Roll is an 11. So once again, Mike Graham able to kick out. And there's a standing drop kick by Jimmy Golden. That is an asterisk maneuver. So in tag team matches with Robert Fuller, substitute Spike Piledriver plus 2 tags. So it is not a tag team match. So this is just a standing drop kick. Target is going to be 7. Roll is an 8, so Mike Graham stays alive. And Jimmy Golden hits him with a drop kick again. Target is going to be 8. Roll is a 4. And Jimmy Golden has put this one away. So that was with the standing drop kick. He beat Mike Graham. I'm actually going to give that a half a star. I enjoyed that match. I thought it was pretty good. And then we've got Ted Christie and the Sandman in our main event. So let's get this one going. Ted Christie in the blue corner. He weighs in at 230 pounds and he stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. And in the red corner, weighing in at 273 pounds and standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he is the Sandman. And the two men meet in the middle of the ring. And Ted Christie shows off his much higher wrestling ability, ends up in control of the match, sends Sandman into the turnbuckle. Sandman lifts a knee as Christie runs in. And the Sandman now on the attack. The Rolling Rock here. And that catches Christie. He's going for the pin. Target is 3, roll is a 10. Sandman coming out strong here. Of course, the Sandman is throwing Ted Christie out of the ring. And Ted Christie is mad, grabs that kendo stick from the corner of the Sandman and tries to get back in the ring with it. The referee is warning him here. And that does it. Ted Christie is disqualified for bringing the kendo stick in the ring. He didn't even hit the Sandman with it. Just brought it in. Via DQ, and this is the Sandman picking up the win. Ted Christie lost his temper and refused to relinquish the kendo stick. I think that was a dud. I'm going to call that a dud. And there we go. We have run our first card. Blue Geeman Jr., who was in the audience tonight, left contact information backstage after the show. Good to know. We made a ton of money off of the ticket sales. I think I might have left the testing numbers in the thing. Anyway, this will be adjusted. It should not be this high. But we had 395 attendees, which I believe is pretty much a sellout crowd. So we sold out. We spent $218 on the venue, $118 on workers, $115 on marketing, and 16 extra points to please Lord Zoltan. So we made 2,589 points. Again, that's more than I probably should have made. I think that I have a multiplier in there for testing so that when I was testing stuff, I wasn't going bankrupt, no matter what I did, basically. And so that will probably need to be adjusted. But that's, that's what I've been doing, is tweaking some of the formulas for attendance and ticket prices and all that kind of stuff. And then, we got our results here. So, the Jimmy Golden Mike Graham match, I gave it an extra half star, so it went from 2.5 to 3 stars. Overall, it was a 2-star event. That's not too bad. So we'll go back to the office here. And if you ever wanted to see your financial stuff, you can always come to that financial drawer there. And so you can sort it down by year, and this thing will have all your events for the entire year added up on it. By month, so any event I run in February, it'll let me know. It'll total the attendees, the ticket sales, all of that stuff. Or you could just do it by the individual card, and this will actually have a date over here, tell you when it was, all that kind of stuff. So if you ever need to look back through your finances, that's how to do it. Let's see what other things are in here that are fairly cool. This is a little different than how it used to work when you hit new title. You, if you go to image, you can only select a title from your, essentially from like your promotion directory. If you try to select it from outside of it, it'll tell you can't. That's because you actually have to have them. You actually have to have the titles commissioned by calling the title maker. Let's see, contact belt maker. So that's this here. It'll bring you into the belt builder screen. You will need parts. I posted some on the Patreon, so if you're a Patreon subscriber, I think it's a digital bootlegger plus tier. There is a whole zip file with a ton of parts you can use to make title belts. So yeah, you could create your belt. Let's add that. We'll make it bigger. You can move it around, all that kind of stuff. So here we go. Let's say I just wanted to leave it like that, let's say. And save and exit. I can enter the name of the belt. We'll just call this test. I'm not going to actually use this. But then if we go into the title history and I go new title, I can actually select the test thing. It's got the thing still there because I didn't close it first, which was my bad. I should probably automatically do that. And that is something that I am noting down that I need to do before release. But yeah, and that did cost me money. If I go over here and I look at my expenditure now for the month, you'll notice that in my other expenses, where it used to be just $16, I now have a $641 expenditure. So the title, having that title commissioned, even though I'm not going to use it, did cost me points. Let's take a look at some of the other things you can do here. So here is your promotion details. You could set up the charts that you want to use by default. So default here is actually whatever is default is set as default in your like your normal setup. But you can override them here. So if I wanted to use the Golden Age charts for everything, I can do that. Apparently I don't have a Golden Age Death Jump chart, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and use that. This will allow you, like, so when you start this universe thing, it essentially starts a new universe for you that's only available in promoter mode, which means that your tag teams and stuff don't carry over. You can go ahead and import anything that you created in other modes here. So like if you wanted to bring in, the Dusek Riot Squad, for example, you could say import, and it would import them. For whatever reason, it doesn't update. I need to fix that too. There's another little bug. So that's, polishing is something that I'm still working on. That's why it's tomorrow and not today. I figured there'd be some things that showed up when I was trying to test everything or show it off on screen. So, but yeah, you could bring in filters. You could bring in the tag teams. You could bring in venues. All of that stuff. So, and then you can close it out. You could edit your active cards here. So like if you realize that there are some people, like I have, let's go card set. What are they? Are they originals? No. See, I left out all of these colored cards, but there are some that I have that International? Nope. I'm looking for the Tolos brothers. I think they might just be in Bootlegs Wrestling. FG Assistant exclusive. And then see, we got Chris Tolos here. Oh, it went back to all. I don't want to do that. Yeah, there we go. So Chris Tolos is enabled. Good. Cool. So if you need to change it ever, you can do that. It's a thing that you can do. You can also configure the technologies. This is a little bit of cheating if you have a start, if you have a date on it, and but I included it there in case you want to run something weird, or you forgot to enable something that should be enabled or whatever. It's there. Don't cheat. I mean, if you want to, go ahead, I guess. It doesn't hurt anybody but yourself. The whole point is to give you something to do. So if you're gonna cheat, you might as well just play sandbox mode, right? Yeah, see, these are the ticket prices are a little higher than they should be. Technically, they should be, I think, $3, $5. That's why the thing was so $3, $5, and $8 are that should be the starting ticket price. I think that I defaulted it to the next level up or whatever when I was testing. So when you start, you're going to see your ticket prices set to 3, 5, and 8. Now you can set them higher, but you're going to sell less tickets. They like the size of your promotion. Fans expect a certain price range for your tickets, so you have a little wiggle room. But if you start going crazy and you set them to absolutely insane numbers, like if you start as like your just the local promotion that you are now, and you're trying to charge like $20 for a cheap ticket, no one is going to show. That's just too much. So, but there we go. And since I made an absolute crap ton of money on that, let's go to the merchandise. And so these are all of the merchandise that I have available currently. I could buy an 8x10 photos for my wrestlers, event programs for my events, posters, or replica championship belts. The cost is how much they cost you per unit, and the fan price is what the fans will pay for them per unit. So you're basically, you've got a cost of $2. You could sell them for $5, so you're making a fair bit of money on that. Let's buy, I don't need that many. Let's buy 200 of them. So that's going to cost me 400 points. And I will have those for sale at my next show. It's another way to make money. But you got to pay for it up front. I can't remember whether you start with any promoter points. You do not. But you do start with the event programs and print advancements unlocked. But this is basically, you earn promotion points, and then you could spend them to upgrade things. Like eventually, once I've got my event programs, I could get enhanced programs. And basically, it's going to make it so that your programs sell for a little bit more money. Superior programs, you can sell them for even more. Improved advertising layout makes your print advertising more effective. In-house printing takes your printing down. That kind of stuff. In-house printing requires bulk printing. You could hire a staff photographer. It's going to make your photos sell for more. And then you can get the cost of printing photos down and more photos for the same price, that kind of thing. So, and there's a bunch of these. There's merchandise, there's medical, there's radio, there's video, internet, scouting, and staff. So, you hire an HR director that allows you to buy ring crew, ring truck mechanics, road agents, ring doctors, ticket crew, transportation managers and accountants, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so that's the gist of this. Basically, your goal is to make points and spend them and collect cards. There is no win condition. There are certainly lose conditions. You can absolutely lose, and once you lose, you're done. But there are no win conditions, so you can keep going as long as you want. But really, like, the goal is going to be to collect all of the cards. So I own 10 of 695 possible cards. So, because we made so much money, because I forgot to lower it, let's go buy another thing. So I was trying to talk about the jumbo pack. So, okay, let's go over what the packs are. Why not? So a regular pack is going to have, I think, 3 cards in it, and it's going to cost you 150 points. Let's go ahead and open one of those up. I got a double. I can already see it. I got another Ted Christie. I know I don't need 2 Ted Christies, so let's go ahead and sell that. Doubles are not a mistake or a bug. You will get them. It pulls from a pool of all of the available cards. You could hang on to them. I don't know why you would, but basically when you get a double, it's a way to make a little bit of extra points on your collection. I got Billy Varga and Ramon Torres. That's pretty nice. So then we move on to the main event pack. This is going to have, I believe it's just 1 card, but they're guaranteed to be of a higher level. So we've opened 50 packs now. And we got Ken Shamrock, and I'm going to sell Ken Shamrock because I don't need him. He's too expensive for my promotion at this point. And then we got the Jumbo Pack, which we opened. You saw that already. It has 5 cards. Jumbo Main Eventer Pack. This will have 3 cards, and they'll all be of the higher level. And then we get into the Special Pack. So this is the 1950s Legend Pack. So this will have only mode exclusive cards for wrestlers from the 1950s. This is the 1960s pack, obviously mode exclusive cards from the 1960s. 1970s is the same deal. Then you got 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s. I did not do 2010s. I was planning on it, but then I was like, I just don't know enough wrestlers from the 2010s. It's just, I guess I kind of zoned out and stopped watching wrestling at that point. So, the 2000s is as late as I'll go. But, I don't know. Does anybody have a, let's open one of these special packs. Does anybody have an era that they'd like to see? If anybody is still watching. I'll open whatever era we want. And we can check out some cards from there. And Billy says 70s. So let's go with the 70s. We will open the cards. And, oh wow, we got a tag team. So we got Jackie Sato and Maki Ueda, who were the beauty pair in Japan, if you're not familiar with them. They were kind of the template that the Crush Gals were built on. Basically the first, like, major female like tag team in Japan. And then Sam Bass, who is mostly a manager card. He's got wrestling stats, so, which is good because that makes him very cheap to book. So those are our cards from the 70s, so let's go ahead and return to office. And that's pretty much it. I mean, and then we'll advance a day. You can see here. We'll go into a calendar. We were doing shows on Saturdays, so if we click on this, we can actually go ahead and add a detail for that day. Let's call this card 2. And we'll call this a booked event. You can leave yourself notes or pre-book your events. If you pre-book an event, it won't let you set up the actual card for it. But basically, it will warn you if you accidentally try to skip past that date without running a card, which is nice. I'll set a reminder on it. Run a second card. The other reason you might want to do this is because you're giving advance notice, you get a tiny bump for attendance if you book it like this. It's not a huge bump. It won't make or break you if you forget to do it or don't care to go in and do it this way. But if you do, you will get a small bump to attendance. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then, it's right here on our calendar. We can see that on the 28th, we have something going on. If you click it, it'll tell you what we've got going on that date. So, but then, like I said, if I try to run this past that Saturday, it will, it let me do it. Oh, because we're in friggin', it was the very last day of the month. I didn't even know that was a thing. Because it switched over, it ignored that. Anyway, so Butch Miller is reaching out to you for a personal meeting and expressed interest in making appearances for FCCW. I'll go ahead and schedule a meeting. Let's see what Butch Miller has to say. Butch Miller is now available for bookings. So let's go to our contact talent. So this basically is every card that we have sold. So like if I ever want the Undertaker back, I don't have to get him from a pack. This is supposed to be a phone. Apparently I have broken the icon for this. But if you go here and click it, you can contact the Undertaker and it will allow you to try to rehire him. I'm not going to spend 400 points to rehire the Undertaker. But if you ever, when I become a much bigger promotion, I can go ahead and try to rehire the Undertaker. So, and you could filter these. So like if you want to look for guys named Homer, if you just type in Homer, it'll show you the guys named Homer. If there were more than one, it would show you all of them, that kind of stuff. So. Trying to think if there is anything else. You got your venues. This will allow you to make a new venue. Again, because the capacity determines the price of the venue, how much it costs you to book it. If you go too crazy, you could feasibly set up a 200,000 seat arena, but it's going to cost you a ton to book that. So, you can't really cheat with it. But that's how to do the venues. You can take out a loan here. If you find yourself falling short of money, you can go ahead and adjust the loan. You could take up to, 12,000 points in loan. So anywhere between 600 and 12,000. The interest rate is 22% right now. Things can affect this. There are events in the that can happen as you play that affect your interest rate. So it will affect how much you have to pay back. Right now, if I take this, my monthly payment is going to be 61 points. I have 12 months to pay it back, and my total repayment is $732. You always have 12 months to repay it, by the way. So, but yeah, so that's how the loan works. It'll give you all of your stuff there and let you know. Defaulting on your loan is one way to end the game. The bank will come in and start repossessing your shit. And so I think it's after 3 missed loan payments. So you have like a 3-month leeway there. They will basically say enough is enough. We're not having this. So, don't default on your loans. Not a good look. Scouting is not available because I don't have any talent scouts. I need to hire them in the talent. Can I not click the stupid thing? I can't click the stupid thing. Oh, good Lord. See, this is why I knew that if I came on stream and started showing this off on stream, I'd find every problem that I didn't know that I had. So, all right, well, we can fix this pretty easily. 32. Nope, that's the pack store. Load scene. Let's go with 34. That's the lobby scene. So 35. It did not like 35, huh? Oh, you're having a fit. Okay, fine. Oh, now you're going to have a fit about everything, huh? You cannot load. Oh, no. Well, I can't. What is it telling me there? Oy, oy, oy. See, this would never happen if I didn't accidentally load into the scene. That it should, without any of the setup that happens, when you load into it naturally. Yeah, it's just having a shit fit because of I can't exit the server because there's no server loaded because I entered the scene like an asshole. Um, so yeah, let me restart this real quick, and I could show off a couple of other things. Dealing with things that I have changed or updated since the last update, because it's been a while. So I'm just going to play offline. That's also probably why I tend to play offline most of the time, because you really only need to sign in if you're needing to adjust your user ID, or you want to play somebody in the online mode, which is over here, or buy stuff in the store. But if you don't need to do any of those things, offline mode is fine. I do recommend signing in the very first time you load it up on a new computer, because it will store your ID or pull down your stored ID. So, but yeah, so I changed the menu around a lot. I know the people who have in the testing group are, this is, for Billy, who is part of the testing group. He's seen all this kind of stuff before, so not exciting for him, but I did change the menu around. I think it's easier to handle. There isn't, it's not quite as crammed. Everything is a little bigger, easier to click on, easier to read. I don't think there's anything new in here really, except for this text-to-speech stuff. I do have speech-to-text now, so if you have a decent graphics card, because it's, the text-to-speech stuff, or speech-to-text, it's an AI model that analyzes your speech and then turns it into text for, entering cards or whatever. So if you want, you can download the larger one, which is fairly big. It's 1.5 gigabytes, so I did not include it with the actual, with the actual download. You download it separately. So if you want to use the larger one and you have it, I think it's at least 12 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of VRAM, you can go ahead and do that. The data import works out here now too. So, on my, this is the same thing as it is in the promoter mode. If you basically want to, let's say I'm in my NWC universe, but my Night of Legends has I made all the tag teams there because there's no era stuff. And let's say I'm just like, I don't want to deal with bringing them all back in. You could just select them and hit import, and it will bring them into your currently loaded universe. And it works for groups and filters and venues and titles. So just a way to move things between universes, which wasn't possible before. We go into card management. I made a few changes to the card creation thing. So if we create a new card, you won't be able to see what I'm doing here. But I have another window up with all of my, essentially with all of my card backs and stuff, all of the image files. And so if I want to just drag somebody in, I can do that now. That also wasn't possible before, so, let's just go here and I'm going to drag in my colored Abdullah Farouk. But I could just drag them in and I don't have to worry about going to the images menu or anything. That only works on Windows. Mac OS doesn't like people, they don't like people who don't pay them money getting into their operating system calls. So basically, if you don't pay like Apple any money, like you're limited to being able to use only basically what Unity exposes to you, because Unity paid Apple money to to access that. So I couldn't do it there because this isn't natively supported by Unity. So, but it does work for Windows. I couldn't find anything for Linux. I don't think anybody plays on Linux except for me when I play it on the Steam Deck. And honestly, when I play it on the Steam Deck, I just use Proton and the Windows version. So even though I can run it natively on Linux, I don't. So, but yeah, so that's nice. It also works for their theme music. If you drag an MP3 file in here and just drop it, you can set their theme music to whatever you want. So, and this is now a thing. So on your, when you're entering a chart, you can use the OCR if you're on Windows, and it will load up a large version, which you can use to highlight the text and OCR it. It's kind of being a pain in the ass right now. I know some people don't like this one. They prefer the one from Bootlegger where you just like flip through a couple of different sizes. I don't like that for this one because it allows you to be more precise with only the text you want and bring it in. And because the image is larger, it does a much better job than if I was to try to read it off of this text, which isn't like tiny, but it doesn't always work. So, and this does work if I go back to wrestler cards. You could do the same thing for abilities on wrestler cards. So if I wanted to, to take this and, bring this in, you could do that. So that's new. It also has text to speech. So if I do this and I go, so keep in mind, I'm not using the large model. This is just the default one that comes with the program right now, which is not very good. So this is not going to work. It'll work, but it may make mistakes. So if I go here and I go body slam -3, so it will add that to it, so you could basically just talk your moves into existence. Suplex -2. It did not like that. That's a weird spelling of suplex. Way to go. But yeah, so you can talk it into existence now if you want to as well. I'm going to be honest, I added it for the Steam Deck because it's easier to enter. The Steam Deck uses an on-screen keyboard, and navigating the on-screen keyboard is a pain in the ass. But if you're on a computer that has OCR, there's absolutely no reason to not just still use the OCR. So I highly recommend just sticking with the OCR, even though this is an option. If you're on the Mac, this might be better for you because this does work on the Mac. So, So that's the new stuff for this. Let's see, what other new crap did I add? Somebody did ask me to add like categories for charts for filtering them to make them easier to select. So I did that. We come over here to the chart editor, and you can do it here. What if your computer has OCD? Well, then it probably won't let you get anything wrong anyway. So yeah, you can filter by tag now. So you got your tags here. You can go, I don't know, you only want to see the ring charts. Hit OK. You got your default ring chart, your vintage ring chart. Filter by tags again. Let's clear it so that it just does everything. So now you can filter your charts by tags. That also, if I go over here and do this, so let's just pick two random guys. We're going to start a match. I didn't realize that one of those guys was the European heavyweight champion, but it's not a championship match. So if you do this, you now have this little arrow over here that says show filters. You can load up your filters here too. Let's say you only want to see vintage charts in your thing. When you hit the button back, it'll sort it so that only your vintage charts are there. You could do the same thing. If you just click vintage again, it will turn it off. You go there and then you've got everything again. So there you go. You have chart filters now, so you can filter your charts if you want to filter them by like hardcore, special match type, whatever you want to do. You can do that now. I don't think I added a whole lot of additional stuff. I did do a lot of under the hood stuff. I moved tournaments out of the one night or out of the quick play option because they kind of really do require you to have a sandbox promotion at this point. So it came over to here. I'm trying to think if I made any other improvements or adjustments. I don't think I did actually. So that's pretty much what you got going on. If you go into the chart editor, this is where you can set your, you can hit edit tags and just, it'll pop out a thing. You can give it a new tag or whatever. So yeah, you've got the speech thing over here. I haven't added, because there's no image on the, on the match charts. They don't have an image associated with them in the game. I haven't added the ability to OCR them yet, and I'm not sure that I will, just because again, there's no image associated with them in the game. So there's not a whole lot to read off of unless I just have you load an image, which is a possibility. If people are interested in that, let me know. It's not impossible for me to do. It could probably be done in the next update. So if that's something that sounds like you want to do that, let me know. And we could have it pop up like the full-size thing, just like the wrestling cards do now. And so you'd basically be able to OCR your chart rolls and all that kind of stuff. So and I think that's just about it. If there are any questions, you feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I don't have much else to show off. This should be out tomorrow. I'm going to go fix the couple of bugs that are happening. Things like the title belt, the bounding box on the title belt object's not automatically disappearing when you click OK or click save or whatever. And the not being able to click out of that stupid scouting menu that it apparently has a something that's blocking the button, so I need to fix that. But I will do that, and that'll happen before we launch tomorrow. So yeah, this will go up live tomorrow on Patreon for subscribers. Basically, anyone who is a basic subscriber will get the update. So, if you have let your subscription lapse or whatever, you sign up again for 1 month, update, and you're good to go. That's totally fine with me. I appreciate the support, even if you don't stick around every month. If you do stick around every month, it's probably better to be more than just a basic subscriber, because you get something every month that way. I put out at least one set of, or at least some bonus cards every month for people who are higher than the basic tier. So if you want to stick around, think about maybe signing up for one of the better tiers, get some bonus cards. Sometimes they have Warner artwork, like this month's cards did have some Warner artwork. So that's pretty cool. And I guess since everybody's here, or we're here and doing this, let's preview my next actual print set that's coming up. Since I have all the cards back from Warner, and I haven't announced it yet or anything. So this is going to be the Spring 2026 set. And it doesn't really have a name yet or anything. It's just Spring 2026. We got 8 cards, all Warner artwork, like I normally do. We did the AI argument. We know where I stand on AI. I'm absolutely 100% supportive of it in bootlegs. I don't think that it has any place in commercial products, including bootleg commercial products, but that's my personal thing. I know that some people like, it just depends on where you draw your line, And I know some people were really disappointed about the Filsinger thing too, and that sucks that, that we didn't have consensus as a community. But I do think that them not doing AI art on commercial things is better for everybody, including the people who wanted the color cards. Because if Tom really wants to do a second set of color cards, he's going to do a second set of color cards. And if they're not AI, they're better for everybody, they're hand done, they get more attention, more care, more love. I just think that that's a better way to go than, selling AI cards for $27 a pop or whatever a GWF set costs these days. I know it's more expensive than the Legends stuff because they usually come with a much bigger handbook and all that kind of thing. So, but yeah. So, my stuff, if I'm going to sell it, it'll always have Warner art, is what I'm getting at. So we've got Alibaba, who was a world champion in the 40s. Chief Chuchki, who was literally the guy who introduced the foreign object to wrestling in the 1920s and 30s. He not a very well-known guy, but definitely an important guy at this point. Lenny Montana also stole his name. If you're familiar with Lenny Montana, he was Luca Brasi in The Godfather, but also a wrestler. He wrestled as Chief Chewacki or Chief Chuchki at some point. Judo Gene LeBell, who made Steven Seagal shit his pants. That's really all you need to say about that. Gene Stanley, he basically did Buddy Rogers' gimmick in New York before Buddy Rogers could do Buddy Rogers' gimmick in New York. So Buddy Rogers actually didn't do the whole Nature Boy thing in New York very much. Because Gene Stanley was already there and was already very over and was a huge star there. So we got Gene Stanley. Then we come down here and we've got Pat Malone, Green Shadow, and Ginger the Bear. I'm going to name them all off at the same time because they're Pat Malone and the Green Shadow are the same wrestler. Malone wrestled as the Green Shadow and was the biggest box office draw in Tennessee wrestling in the 20s, 30s, 40s, mostly the 30s and 40s. And he was eventually unmasked and did big money as Pat Malone, and was just kind of a a very well respected guy. So we've got Shadow and Malone. And then Ginger the Bear was the bear that Pat Malone trained and would travel around with when he was kind of touring around. In sort of after retiring, I think he might have still wrestled here and there, but mostly like when he was a little later on in his late 40s and 50s, he would travel around with Ginger, and Ginger the Bear would wrestle, in Florida or in Georgia, or different territories around the southeast and east coast. So this is Ginger the Wrestling Bear. And then we've got Rowdy Red Roberts, who was who was part of Roy Welch's main crew. So I have always liked Rowdy Red Roberts and never did a card for him because it's kind of hard to find stuff about Rowdy Red Roberts until they released a book about Rowdy Red Roberts. So I picked up the book and ended up doing a Red Roberts card. I really like that art. I think Warner did a really good job with the bloody head and the gap tooth. So I was like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool art. So, but that's going to be my next set. That should be out sometime in, I want to say, late April, early May-ish. I'll put up a notice on the board about pre-orders and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's what's going on with that. And then if I'm going to be really, maybe I'll cut this out of the